All right, so it seems like
Yeah. So there are multiple people on the stream who are waiting for us. Hi, Gagan.
yes.
Yeah, and obviously we have already
Hey, hello.
interacted with Priya. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The cluster हम find out ही नहीं कर पा रहे हैं ना link कर पा रहे हैं. So there are a lot of people in the market who are roaming around
Hello.
and वो positive है. हम trace नहीं कर पा रहे हैं.
Hello.
Can
तो कल बुला ही था जब बुलाया.
अच्छा PM अच्छा
is there a way we can mute all? Yeah, I think everybody is muted. All right, cool, perfect. Welcome you all. My name is Dheeraj Singh. Today I am here with the founder of multi-cloud for company. Anjani are trying to demonstrate what exactly Power BI is and how with Power BI and a little bit of data warehouse concept, and we'll do a demo on the Power BI as well. So here is my
hello everybody.
introduction. Yeah, hey Anjani. So
Yes,
here
Neeraj,
is
you
the
can continue.
introduction. What I am. I'm the multi-cloud for you. And as I just mentioned, I have founded as well with this call. Unfortunately, his voice is not going on the TV streaming thing, so that's the reason I'm talking more. Otherwise, normally he does. So yeah, Anjani, you were saying something?
So hello everybody, welcome for this session. So this is part of our multiple series to educate people on cloud, specifically around multi-cloud, how SaaS, PaaS, FaaS, and multiple type of platform are there on the cloud, and how we can easily make it available to most of the technologies, take the fear out, make them more competent enough for market, and also make them more competent in terms of frugality and in terms of multiple things which are needed at this point of time when the world is changing with the advent of fourth and fifth industrial revolution. So obviously, I would welcome Dheeraj to speak further. He's doing a great job.
You quickly repeat what he just mentioned on a high level, because as I just mentioned, his voice is not streaming in the TV. See, he just said that the company which I and Anjani, both of us, and there are a few other, this company is basically of all the intellectual people. So we're basically looking into all of the cloud features. We're looking into the multi-cloud side of it. We work towards the data science. We work towards the AI stuff. We work towards the BI and data warehouse, big data. It's a combination of all with the cloud and multi-cloud platform. That's what Anjani just mentioned. So moving ahead. So as I just mentioned, I am a co-founder, and I have my founder, which is Anjani, who just got introduced. Here is his profile. So now these are the links through what we can go to the TV streaming thing. We can join through. We can be a part of the whole session through these links. And now let's see the agenda. Today's agenda is basically these are the agenda. So let's jump to the first point, which is what is data warehouse? Because see, I know this is a pure
Dheeraj,
fast to
continue.
warehouse side. What exactly data warehouse is? So sorry. I hope I'm audible well, right? You guys can hear me well, right? I guess it's yes. Okay.
Yes, Dheeraj, yeah.
Keep on losing your voice in between.
Yeah, so maybe some network
losing
issue.
my voice.
A little, but it will automatically.
Can you hear me, Anjani?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll try to be as slow as it's possible. So as I just mentioned, whenever we try and speak about a BI thing or BI solution, we should always focus and discuss about the data warehouse, because that's the base, that's the backbone of the entire BI application. So and it's a very standard, very old, years old for data warehouse, subject oriented, integrated, time variant, non-volatile collection of data to support the management decision making the process. This is a very typical, but the gist of the behind the data warehouse concept is in different applications are sitting on a different platform. It could be connecting to the NoSQL databases. It could connect to the any system, even the messaging system stores in a different format of a data storage thing. So eventually, what we do, we centralize the entire set of data and store into a data warehouse. Now, now the world is completely different now, changing very fast. So it is not that just the we as I mentioned, data warehouse is a collection of different heterogeneous sources, but we basically do a little change towards the data. Like we denormalize the data from a relational database to a data warehouse side of it. So we categorize certain sets of information into two different sets of tables called dimensions and fact table. So I just tried putting one of the example, which so I worked on the sales fact and I worked on these different dimensions, which is nothing but the attributes which holds the information about that sales for that sales basically. So I created a demo as well on these subject areas so that it'll be much easier for us to understand. So moving ahead, the next slide is what is BI. Now it's a very standard thing. BI, business intelligence is basically you view your data in a different formats, and then it helps you make any of the decisions towards your organizational goal. So on a high level. So now let's jump directly into what is Microsoft Power BI. Now, we all know that Power BI is a cloud-based business analytics services that enables fast and easy access to your data, 360 view of the business, data discovery, insights from any device, which means you can connect through any devices. Collaboration across your organization, anyone to visualize and analyze the data. Now, let's take a look on the overview of Power BI. On the left-hand side, and the yellow side of it, it's a data sources, like which all data source it can connect to. And trust me, it can connect to anything. I mean, anything. It's a so large range and variety of data sources connections are. So this has very small list of things like, but again, it's a packaging thing, so it could connect to multiple different within the package itself. So SaaS, again, it's a software as a service, which they have a pre-built application. You can actually take it for a bunch of different applications like Salesforce, etc. It's a pre-built application. So let's say if you have a Salesforce, you buy that SaaS solutions, it can have the bunch of different dashboards and pre-built reports. You can, without even creating anything, you can right away start using it. You can connect to on-premises data. It could be NoSQL, SQL, any Notepad, anything, any kind of a data source it can connect to. Organizational content packs, yes, it can connect to any of the content packs sources. Azure services, Excel sheets, and again, Power BI desktop files. Now, I know we haven't spoken about Power BI desktop yet, but Power BI desktop is we will be talking about that down the line, but that's the base and the backbone of the entire Power BI, where we actually, import the metadata, we create the data models, we do all the logical columns, logical tables, all the querying thing, all the stuff which we actually, before we actually create a report, everything is being done by Power BI desktop, which we will talk, of course, later on. And then, so the Power BI, so let's say if we have one file and we want to attach that set of information, which is a whole list of reports, probably 10 different tabs in there in report, or 10 different dashboards, and I want to merge those things within the new dashboard which I'm working towards, I can do that. So that becomes one of my source actually. So on the right hand side, so the same thing you see on the bottom, that what consists the Power BI desktop within the whole bucket in there. So preparing is nothing but importing data, setting up, cleaning up, creating a data mart, creating data model. Mart is nothing but a data model. You're not actually creating fact and dimensions in here, but you're just importing the metadata and putting it into the data model. And then you explore the data, and then you create a report, and then you share. All these things happens through Power BI desktop. Now let's move on to the next slide. Again, experience our data. Experience, we can connect to the Microsoft cloud. It can also connect to any non-Microsoft clouds. On-premise data, of course, we can connect to any of the application, any data sources. As I just mentioned, we can of course, when we see the demo, we can see the number of different source it allows us to, connectors it has to connect to a different source systems. Moving to the next slide. Stay connected from any device. As I said, that it has a native app for iPad, iPhones, Windows devices. So you can actually do the entire set of BI thing on your cell phone or on your tablet or on your laptop, of course, and you can do everything. Like you can receive an alert. Alert can be through messages. Alert can be through that app, which is Power BI app supports. So it has various of things utilizing any of the device, which makes life more easier on day-to-day activity. This is one of the best feature I personally feel about the Power BI, especially a user doesn't has to have a pro in the technology side, and they can simply write a query, like, which I'll show you in my demo too. So they can write a simple English saying that product by sale, product by sale, by product, by region, or anything, and it'll create the graph. If you want a graph, it'll create a visualization if you want. So this is one of the best feature. Of course, we have to design the data model such a way so that the query language can understand. When I'm saying such a way, which means it understands the denormalized data sets information, like the fact and dimension relationship. It understands the fact, which holds all the measures. Measures are nothing but the numbers, and all the dimensions, which are nothing but the attributes, which has a relationship with those numbers. Like a product has a sales, which is being sitting in the fact table. So a product would tie back to the sales, and a customer who bought any product, again, it is tying back to the sales. So that kind of if you remember the first slide, we had that the star schema, which I just mentioned. Again, star schema is a term which we use in that denormalized set of one family, which is a one subject, sales subject area. We'll see this feature. I'm sure you'll love this feature. Okay, let's go to the next. This is okay. I know we have had multiple different sessions in Office 365. The only reason why I kept this one, because Power BI is a family. The entire BI Power platform is basically part of Office 365, and we do manage Power BI, most of the administrative stuff using the Office 365, which is creating a group. Again, if you have the Microsoft Active Directory or Azure Active Directory, you can manage all those things in there. So you can actually define the number of users, you can you can add a whole entire group of that, you can enable, you can disable, you can manage how many people are viewing the reports, dashboards. You can do a user tracking. You can do all sort of things using Office 365. That's why I thought of just throwing some light on Office 365. Again, so as I promised that Power BI desktop will be talking in here. So desktop tool for data exploration and interactive reporting. So again, this is something. This is the backbone of the entire Power BI, as I mentioned. So you import the data, you massage the data, you create the data model, you work on the DAX. Again, DAX is something which provides you to do all the query language thing. Like you can do math, like something plus something will become your one measure. Logically, you can create a logical column in there. In the fact table, let's say if you're looking at to have, and you can do a very critical calculation as well. You can write a case statement. You can write if else statement. So you can do anything in the DAX query. DAX query is a platform which again part of the Power BI itself. So it provides you the whole set of information towards building your report or sharing it. So 4 components, if you remember. So we'll see that right in next slide. Again, this is the content, what all contents it covers in there. So these are the 4 basic things Power BI Desktop provides, which is preparation of your data, exploration of our data, which is we explore the data, what kind of a data we have, and then create a report and then share that report among different group people. Now, sharing the data, we cannot just go ahead and click on publish without having any of the sharing component in there or group of people which are already part of that collaborated group. So we can sign up Power BI. Again, this is one of the best thing. Power BI is completely for free tool to use as long as we are not sharing our content with any other person. So the moment we try and share any of our component with the other users, then yes, then we have to pay for it. Otherwise, downloading that in setting it up and viewing your data in multiple different ways, utilizing all the visualization and everything, it's all free. So we'll talk about the licensing in few minutes. This is how it looks when we share the data. So I just thought of sharing one of my clients dashboard. So this is one of my clients dashboard. Dashboard as an app, basically. It's not a dashboard, it's an app, online app, which you can connect it from anywhere. I just mentioned. After we share the reports and dashboard, any user can log in there and view the report, which we will see probably once we go on a demo side. This is the licensing thing. So we have 2 options. Option number 1 is the pro licensing, which is again after free. So we have a free option, so you can utilize the free as long as you're not sharing any of your component. Of course, you can connect, you can do all sort of things what I just mentioned using desktop, but you cannot share your component with any of the users. When I'm saying share, which means you cannot send it or you cannot create any workspace. Again, workspace is something which is basically a group of those reports which we create in the Power BI app. So these are 2 options. This is pro is basically you're using the shared memory, you're using the shared machines, but the premium is that you will have your own dedicated server. Like for pro, if you have one certain tables which is the size is really large, it is not advisable to have pro. Then you need a premium to have your own dedicated server. Like for instance, if you're paying $5,000 a month, you can have 8 virtual core machine with 32 gigs and terabytes of storage memory in there. Can you please go mute everyone, please? Thank you. All right. So now let's do a quick demo in there. So what I did, I instead of importing it and showing it to you, I created. I hope everybody can see my screen still. So I have created one source, which is, so when you are seeing this is basically a fact table, which is sitting. So I put together everything in one Excel sheet so that it can become really easy for us to understand. As I mentioned on my first slide, there has to be a fact table which can connect to all of the different dimensions. Now, the connections are all the dimensions primary key goes as a foreign key into the fact table. That's a concept of a data warehouse. So these are different dimensions I took. Time series is the most important thing, the date dimension, and these are the different dimensions and fact table. What I did, I just imported this Excel sheet, and if you see here, so let me go back and show you, as I promised, I will show you the list of different source system which it supports. So as I said, look at this, all different kind of file system, even JSON, XML, text files, CSV, PDF. You can actually import the entire folder, any database, you name it, any database it can connect to. Look at the list of the entire databases. Power BI platform, of course, you can have any Power BI Power platforms. Azure, online services. It has a bunch of different online services. It has other which talks about ODBC, JDBC, and OLE database. All those other sits in there, and that's also a huge list of things. So you can connect to SharePoint. You can connect to anything. You just name it. You can connect to even web. You can connect to even Python script. So a huge range of the connectors what we have. So I just created a small one report. So if you see that, if you hover over your mouse, you can see actually what exactly it is talking about. So if you change it, it talks about the budget. When I hover, it talks about sales. So I created one graph, sales over the budget. And then same thing, so some of the visualization. So these are all small different reports are there. So I put together using these, which is nothing but what I just showed you in the Excel sheet right here, the sales, date, customer, product, and region, territories, region, product, customer, and calendar, and budget and sales. So these are all, and I did, if you see this, I have also created some logical. So if you see this is a logical column which I had created. You can see the logic in here. Sales, total amount, the sales amount plus the tax amount becomes my total sales. That's what I was talking about, the calculated column or the logical column which I had created. Now, so these are the things which I wanted to show you. Let me show you how. So here is my data model. So this is called the data model which I was talking about. So I have two fact tables. One is the budget. Again, budget is sitting in my database. I have already created, and I'd created an Excel sheet, and I loaded and imported that Excel sheet in here. So you can see that. So normally it automatically creates the relationship if it finds the same keys sitting in both the tables. So if you see this in here, we have customer has it should have customer key in somewhere, customer key in here, customer key in here. Territory should have the sales territory in here, and it should also have sales territory in here. This is the primary key in the dimensions and the foreign key in here in the fact table. So this is how it automatically creates, unless you have a different name provided in there. So this is everything is ready. Now and these are the different ways of looking at different tables in here. So if I click in this, I can show you all the tables and everything in here. We can collect it with the data itself. You can see the entire table. Now let's go back in here and show you a few other things. So I spoke about the, again, refresh option. So we can always refresh, set up the refresh, and we can do, so I'll have to go to the DAX to do the refresh option. So we can set it up, the refresh option and everything. This is not working because I haven't set it up. We can have this, so the moment we put the new sets of data, because it is sitting at the Excel sheet, so it is expecting that this thing to be captured in there. So once I do that, I can set up the refresh. It will just refresh. Whenever I click on that, it'll refresh the data from that source, whatever source I've set it up in there. I can have that in SharePoint. I can have somebody upload it in the SharePoint. The moment it does it, I can set up the query, and the moment it gets uploaded, it can automatically refresh it. Now, going back to the report, this is the report actually, and when I click on publish, it basically goes and comes into this Power BI side of it. So now let's say I'm a developer. I have built this report and shared with all of my people. So when any of the persons, so if you see in here, I can show you quickly. So if you see in this, who has the access? I have given the access to these people who can view my report. Look at the number of people I have. So few of them are admin, few of them are members, few of them could be a contributor, few of them could be just a viewer. Now, I, as a user, can go in this report and view, and I can even refresh this using, let me first open this. I can even refresh this data using my own ID if I have the permission. So this is how we share, and this is how. So these are the GMVA. This is basically called the workspace, which I think I named this one. So I didn't talk much about it at that time because I didn't want to confuse you all. So this is basically GMVA. What you see is nothing but the workspace, and that workspace is something um, you add all of these sets of report, and you can share this, you can set up the security, you can do a bunch of other different things. Now, okay, I think somebody's trying to.
Hey, Dheeraj, it's
Okay,
okay. You continue. Yeah, just I think there was some confusion, so I just wanted to check that if everyone is able to hear it. So they said yes. Okay, continue. Yeah.
but let's talking that question and answer. Let me see if I can. If you see that my so this is a simple question. Product I can see, right? Now I can add sale by product, by ship. This I'm not dropping anything, but this tool is so smart because I made it smart, because I made the proper data modeling tool so that my user can simply write a query and they can, okay, even if they're not saving, they're clearing it up, or they just type sale or budget, total budget amount. It's not set it up. So feature with this tool, and I personally love this one, and I think a lot of other tools are also coming up with these question answer, I mean the native query options. But yeah, that's how I have, and I would want to keep.
Dheeraj, we are losing you a little, so you need to be a little slow, I think, and that would help us.
Leave the conversation up for the question answer. If anyone has any question, I would love to answer that.
Okay. Yeah. So, guys, I think chat is opened up, and I will also open up the mic once you put your question here. I'll open the mic for the person who is who need to ask any question to Dheeraj. Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah, hi, Dheeraj. I enjoyed your session. Quick question. I'm not too sure if this is the right platform to ask it, but something like
Please go ahead.
duplicacy of reports. For example, in a work from home scenario, which almost all companies are doing now, especially companies that are new to the concept at a large scale. There are times when, let's say, at a team leader level or an assistant manager level, there begin requests for reports, and they can be at all points of the day, and they can be from multiple supervisors. Now, at some point, they are beginning to realize that the same set of reports are being asked by different people. Now, in a scenario like this, can Power BI provide a solution to that extent?
Let me give you a scenario in here. So there are two scenarios out here. One report which can be shared among 10 different people or 20 different people. The same kind of report. So you don't have to actually create 10 reports. You do the exactly same thing which I showed. So let's take an example with this report. You still see my screen, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so let me close this guy, and you see this report. This is a WGL report. This is one of the energy company, utility company, who has the entire set of information which they want to share 15 different people. What we have to do, simply create a workspace. Now this is a workspace. It can hold n number of different reports within this workspace. If I click on this, you see there are two reports sitting in there. But how many? So I haven't created 10 different reports. I have two sets of report with the different tabs in here. But if you go in this, same report can be viewed by these number of people which I have added to view in this workspace.
Right.
Am
So
I making sense to you?
yes, absolutely. Except there is a subset to that. So let's say
Okay.
I have 3 supervisors who randomly ask me for reports at different points of the day. Now, for whatever reason, if supervisor A is asking me for a report and they did not mention that B and C need to be CC'd on it, so let's say now in the Power BI language, they are not part of the same workspace. But at some point in the future, let's say in the next 2 days, supervisor B and C also want access to the same report. So I can add them to that workspace even after the report has been generated. Yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, you can add them. Yes. So,
Yes.
yeah. And the other thing is like, it's agility versus governance, right? So how much your organization is able to be agile, and how much your organization is trying to be little conservative in terms of governance. Governance means, and governance, and also is the term sharing is caring, right? So if you create a report, and if you have a generic workspace where your most of the team or the organization can go and search for a already built-in report, what you can do is you can create a copy and push that out into the market. Market can be thought of something for your organization, for your team, for your group level, and whatever the report that gets approved, the beautiful thing that you build can be always pushed at a higher level. So anyone can go. He has a training that he need to search for a similar report if that's there at that level. And then you said about subset, right? And that's how it propagates below to the subset where you create a new report. Before creating a new report, I think the best thing that you have to educate your client and the people that you need to go a little higher up. There's a workspace which is shared to everybody. Try to search for a report. If it's not there, obviously definitely going to create it. So it's more around, it's like a balance between agility and your and the way you conserve and preserve the things to build new.
And also, there is something called the security on the site as well. So there are different levels of security as well. If you want to share the same report to certain people, and you don't want to share the same report, although that person has an access to the workspace, but you don't want that person to view this report, you can activate that option as well. So there are certain different types of a security, which is a role based or role level security. So role level can get added into the data sides of it, and then role based, if a manager is there, he can only view, and if a developer is there, they're not supposed to view, right? So role based or role level security.
Understood.
Did I? Okay, sure. Anybody else?
Anybody else would like to? Yeah, Vampire. Yeah, nice name, sir. Yeah, I'll open the mic for you.
Hello, Mr. Vampire.
Yeah, it's a nice name. Yes, yes, sir. Any questions? Okay, no. So looks like he accidentally switched on. Anyone else? Ashish, Rajneesh, Priyanka, Pranjay, Bhaskar, Akshit, Akash. Okay, so people who are Adhiraj, you can say thanks to the people who are also there on different streaming channel.
Yep.
There are multiple, more than 40-50 people I think are coming up and going up, and a lot of likes are
Thank
coming
you.
up. Yeah.
Thank you so much for all the people who have joined here as well as there in the TV streaming side. I really appreciate that. Hope you liked it. You please feel free to give comments to us as well. Thank you so much, as I said. Thanks.
Yeah, and you can also show them the connect page where they can connect with us, have questions and all. Last page or thank you page.
Yes, and thank you all. Let me go back to the PowerPoint. And here is how you can connect through us. You can directly reach out to me or Anjani using our LinkedIn page. Currently, it's all updated. That's all I had. Again, thanks a lot.
Thank you everybody for joining. It was a fantastic session, Dheeraj, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks so much,
Bye.
Anjani, for giving me the opportunity and the platform to speak about something. It's really interesting.
Same here
Really
from all of us.
respect that.
Thanks for your time. Yeah.
Thanks. I think somebody's
Rajneesh is
saying something.
Rajneesh is saying, yeah, Rajneesh, yeah. Rajneesh, please. Yeah. We open up the mic for you, Rajneesh.
Sir, I am only thanking you and Dheeraj. So
Yeah.
Sure.
definitely this
Absolutely.
type of lectures will add value to our learning. There are lots of technology, and definitely we'll learn the new technology through this platform. So thank you very much, sir.
Of course.
Thank you,
Thank you
Rajneesh.
so much, Rajneesh. And just to add in here, because there are so many people out there, we very soon we are also planning to introduce and talk about bunch of other things, which is not just the technology, which is more interesting towards, like, for instance, how to collaborate with your manager, what is the best option. I mean, bunch of different non-technology thing also we are focusing on, and it'll be more interactive and it'll be more interesting sessions to discuss and work on that. So soon we'll be coming up on that too.
Yeah, parallelly, like there are people
All
who
right.
have already cleared up Amazon or Google interview and they have multiple questions coming up, and they will be coming up and sharing the session with Dheeraj. Yeah, so definitely we'll bring up those sessions soon. Thank you, everybody.
Fantastic.
Thanks a lot
Thanks,
for
sir.
your time. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, Bhaskar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Thanks, Bhaskar.
Bye.